party started today. Just waiting for Mr. Leroy McKenzie to join. There you go. Hello there, whoever you are. All right, we're going to get this started. There you are. There you are. All right. All right, Leroy, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Am I good? Oh, yep, I can hear you fine. I got to get my headset. You have your, can you have your headset?
Hear you fine, unless you can hear me fine. I can hear you fine. I don't think you need a headset.
Okay, all right.
All right, y'all. As you can tell, we're so excited that we got to get on here early so that we can get situated right. Got to get our cameras right, all that kind of stuff. We got to get right. All right. So I see we're going to start in about 1 minute. Hopefully, we can get everybody to come on and join in on this webinar so we can get started.
Absolutely.
I hope everybody's having a good day so far, because I know that I had a very busy day today.
Well, I know mine wasn't all that good, but but that's all right.
That's all right. Okay.
Cool. Best times, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna wait 1 more minute because we want to be mindful of everybody's time. Hey, April, how you doing?
We definitely want to make sure that we get everybody in that wants to be in, because they don't want to miss this.
Nope, they don't want to miss it. Don't want to miss it for sure.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to miss this, because we have some great, just some good stuff that I think that people are going to be really able to take and use after this webinar, that they're going to be able to use right away for their business, to be able to help benefit them in their marketing and branding their particular their business.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get started, because I see April said she's ready. April is ready. I'm ready because, girl, you've been everywhere. You've been liking the posts, and I really appreciate you sharing everything. So we're going to get started. I am Ann Austin, CEO and founder of Austin Tech and creator of the Business Men and Women of Color podcast and Facebook group. And this is part 2 of the 21st Century Business, how to start and grow your business for the very smallest of business. And I just want to reiterate that our webinar is geared for very small businesses who are starting out for the first time, or thinking about starting a business, or maybe you have a business and you would like more information about how other small businesses are doing stuff, or you are a seasoned professional and maybe this could be informational to you. And we would love to hear your feedback. I got a couple of feedback from our first part 1 that they felt it was very informational. And so for us to continue giving you stuff like this, please make sure you let us know how you like the webinars, what you don't like, so that, or what you're looking for, so that we can provide those type of webinars to this group. So tonight, we're going to talk about low-cost marketing, best practices to marketing for very small businesses. And so Leroy is going to start us off with Of course, he is going to really talk about the importance of small business marketing and how you go about it. And I'm going to tell you the how. So I'm going to turn it over to Leroy to get started, and then I'm going to chime in as needed. Go for it, Leroy.
Well, good evening, everybody. We want to thank you all again for tuning in. Before I get started, please, we want you to go. Y'all know the deal. Hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts, hit the
Right.
share button on there to share it out to everybody, because we want everybody to be able to get access to this information that we're sharing here tonight. This is about businesses being successful, and like I started off last week, I believe, and I'm going to start off this week by saying we want you to be better personally and in your business by the end of 2018. We want you to be better at the end of 2018 than you are at the beginning of 2018. And that's what we're about. We're about giving you information, knowledge, resources that you can use right away, because it's my mission. I'm on a mission. I'm I'm on a mission. Ann's on a mission. We're on a mission to make your 2018 better than your 2017 was. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to start off. We're going to talk about tonight, like we said, we're going to talk about marketing and branding. And first, we'll talk about what is the importance of marketing and branding. And actually, they are two different things. So you want to understand that marketing is one piece and branding is another piece. Now, they have some commonalities that you can use, but they are two different dynamics to what you're going to be doing with your business. Your marketing aspect, that's how you sell your product, what you explain to the individual, your target market, what the benefits are of your product, your service, and pretty much you're giving them the answer to the problem that they have. You're letting them know what problem you're solving for them. So I want everybody to write that down. When you're in business, you want to make sure that you in your marketing, that you put in your answer to the problem that you're solving. What problem are you solving for someone? Whether it's your target market, they want to know they have a problem and they want to know how you're going to solve it. And you put that together, you put your marketing plan together based on that, understanding who you are, who your business is, what your business does, and how you intend on doing it. That's those three questions. You can write those three questions down: who you are, how you do it, and well, who you are, what you do, and how you do it. Those three things are part of a central part of marketing and branding. Branding, on the other end, is actually what people say about you or think about you when you're not around. Get that? That's what people think and say about you. When we say a company like Nike, the first thing that most people think about is what? Just do it, and that swoosh that we have. When you think about McDonald's, you think about those three arches, right? When you think about Marriott, you think about the big M. When you think about certain Under Armour, you think about the U and the H. So that's the branding piece of what you do, and what people come to know you as, what people think about you. I know, I'll give you just an example. For me with JNF Enterprises, my branding piece is to give people that when people think about JNF Enterprises, they think about being enlightened, being empowered, and being impacted. That has to do with everything that my company is a part of. We enlighten you, we empower you, we impact you. It has to have those three elements as a part of what you do, as part of your branding. And then even with your marketing plan should entail having those three elements as a part of it. So the marketing piece, we're going to talk about, but I'm going to talk more about branding than marketing this evening. But with your marketing, you want to make sure that you have a marketing plan. You're going to put your marketing plan together, and that's basically so that you can define to yourself who your target market is. And Ann's going to talk a little bit more about understanding your target market, how to be able to how to be able to put those tools together that you need in order to be able to have a strong marketing plan. That includes the web designing, website. It includes social media, all of those things that Ann is going to talk about a little bit this evening. So I'm going to talk a little bit about branding. I'm going to give you some strategies that I put together that have to deal with branding. How do you brand yourself? Because a lot of people don't understand the importance of branding branding yourself and branding your company, so that when people do think of you, or when people talk about you, because people are going to talk about you, it's just a matter of whether they talk positively about you or whether they talk negatively about you. So I'm going to give you, or I'm not going to go through all of them tonight for time constraints, but I'm going to give you the 7 fundamental strategies of branding. Okay. So I'm gonna give you the opportunity to write these down, and we may not get to all of them tonight, but I'm going to give you the list of them, at least to give them to you, so that you have them. Strategy number 1 is partnerships. Who are you partnering with as a business? What partnerships do you have? Because one key element of being an entrepreneur, being in business, is about the relationships that you have, about the partnerships that you establish with other companies and with other individuals. So you want to make sure that you have partnerships. Partnerships are very vital, because what they do is they create for you, it creates a win-win, it should create a win-win situation for you. Perfect example is what Ann and I are doing tonight. This is a partnership that she and I came together to do this webinar. We both have elements to what we do that we felt would be beneficial, not only for our businesses, but for our particular target markets that we have. So we wanted to, so that we came together in a partnership to say, you know what, let's put a webinar together that we can do, that will be able to give our target markets, each of our target markets, because some of you may know Ann, some of you may know me. However it is that you've come to know us, each one of us is what brought you here this evening. And what happens is because of the target market that she has and that she's bringing tonight, she brings them, they get to know me, and then on the other end as well, those that know me that are here listening, they get to know Ann. So that becomes a partnership that benefits both of us, and that's the way that it should be, where it's a mutual beneficial agreement that you have with each other, so that at the end of the day, that each of your markets grow. And that's how your brand grows, because you now give exposure, you've gotten exposure that you wouldn't ordinarily have had you not had that partnership. So the first strategy is partnerships. You definitely want to make sure that you have that.
Leroy, I want to chime in on that point that you just made about the partnership. Now, one of the things I definitely want to address for that particular point is that there are going to be many times where you may have to either do something for free to gain the partnership, because you're a new business, you're not out there yet, your brand is not known yet. So a lot of times you're going to end up either doing something for free, collaborating for free, or paying to be part of something. Like, for example, when Leroy and I actually put in a sponsor to be in Money Baltimore, that was an investment for my brand, to be on a panel for people in the room to know what my company is. And because I'm talking about small business development and small business, education and things like that, now I have 50 people in the room now know what Austin Tech is. So when they see that name or they hear that name, they can associate me with my company, with my brand. So I want everybody to understand that, when you create a partnership for the first time, it can be costly sometimes, but depending on what it is that you're trying to do or what it is you're trying to sell. But just know that every time you create a partnership, make sure that it is a win-win for both parties. Make sure it benefits you, to make sure that you have a way of expanding your business, getting more clients, getting more network, and make sure that that person who's also benefiting is going to be able to have a lifelong. So you just don't want like a quick one-on-one partnership. You want to build lifetime partnerships and stuff like that. Like, for example, I did a webinar for a client last year, and now they're bringing me back to come back in February to do a panel discussion for another event. So that's, to me, that's a lifelong partnership, and that's what you really want to build, and that is what's going to make your brand strong, and then it'll make it easier for you to market your business. Okay, so if that makes sense. So go ahead, Leroy. I just had to throw that in there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and understand this, that it's okay. Every business that you come to know is not meant to be your partner.
Right.
You're not supposed to be in partnership with everybody. So you want to make sure that your vetting process, that you go through a vetting process. You should be vetting that particular business, what their vision is, what their mission is, what their purpose is. Understand what it is that they do, because you want to be careful of who you get hooked up with. Because you
yes.
You get attached to the wrong one.
I gotta get Look, let me tell y'all something. Sometimes when your business is on a momentum, you tend to, like Leroy said, you tend to want to go and grab the first partnerships because you have a momentum, right? But like he said, everybody is not the same. We had somebody who tried to partner with us and all of a sudden started putting our name into stuff and didn't even tell us, okay? And we had no idea what was going on. You have to protect your brand at all costs. I mean, because you're working hard for it. So if there's anybody in your circle that looks like they remotely going to do something detrimental to your brand, or your, or say something negative on your post, it's nothing personal. That's why they have the block feature in social media. Block them. You can still be friends with them, but you just cannot afford that. So really be careful. Make sure you check everything. Check the website, check the Better Business Bureau if you're not sure. Do a Google search to see if there's any complaints out there for that business, especially if you have red flags. So if you have red flags, please, please, please don't do like me and Leroy did, try to get hemmed up, right? So you want to make sure.
It wasn't even, I don't even think it was a thing of getting hemmed up. It was just a matter of individuals sometimes will try, and they see that you may have a particular, your name may be out there. They see that you have a particular way of doing things, and they just try and move forward without letting you, kind of know. And if they aren't informing you of things that they're doing that have to do with your brand, oh no, that's a big red flag, because nobody should be doing anything with your business without your knowledge or consent. I'll say that again. They should not be doing anything with your business or with you without your knowledge or without your consent. If they do, then like Ann said, put the block, let them know, look, I'm cutting you off. That's it. That's not cool. That's not the way that I do. That's not the way that I do business. That may be the way that you do business, but that's not the way that I do business. So you have to make them aware. You just make them aware of that. You let them know that, and there's nothing wrong with that, because like Ann said, you must protect your brand, because it is your brand. It's just like your child. You would not let anything bad happen to your child, and this business is your child. So anybody that tries to negatively impact it, that do something negative to it, what you gonna do? Let a mama have something happen to her baby. She sure enough gonna let you know. That is not happening. So it's the same way here in building those partnerships, because like Ann said, partnerships they may be just for the moment. Those partnerships may just be for the moment, or they may be partnerships and relationships that go throughout a life, that are to last a lifetime. I have some partnerships that I've built, I have partnerships that I have now that I've had for several years now. One being with Ann. This is a partnership and a relationship that has gone over years. So you have to be careful with that. You have to protect it. Make sure that it's the right fit. I'm right there. Somebody put that on there. The right fit. You want to make sure that you have the right fit for you and the other person. It should be a win-win for both of you.
Right. Okay.
You want to make sure that you have that. So strategy number two is technology. Is the technology? What technology are you using? Anne's gonna talk more about that on the tech side because she's a tech guru on this webinar here. So I'm not, but technology that includes social media, that includes software that you use, because industries are changing by the second in this day and time. They're changing by the second. So you want to make sure that you're up to date on whatever software is out there, because you could be outdated. Everybody knows about these phones that we get. Your phone could be obsolete in 6 months from now, you know, because they've come out with another one. So you want to make sure that the technology. Who'd have thought that we would be doing a webinar by phone right about now? We're doing a live webinar by our phones. That's
That's
crazy. That's crazy right there. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Thing is
technology is
everything.
constantly changing. You wouldn't even have thought of this 5 years ago. This was not here 5 years ago. Doing this live like this. So you want to make sure that you're up to date on the technology. You want to make sure that your digital, I call it digital content, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little more too. But your digital content, that's part of your branding as well. Having a YouTube page, your social media, all of those things that Anne's going to talk about. You want to make sure that you're up to date on that, because there are things that even change within the technology. Even social media has changed. Facebook has changed. Like we said, doing the Facebook Live, that wasn't here, so that aspect of Facebook has changed. Instagram Live has changed. That's actually changed, brought in as well as YouTube. So all of these things are part of technology, and what you need to make sure that you are up to date on, and that you keep a mind of, and you want to make sure that you have on your team, you have someone that you can talk to, whether it's your IT person, whether it may even be your web designer, because they may have some knowledge of it. But you want to make sure that you have somebody on your team that is tech savvy. That if you don't know everything about the technology world and industry, that you can go to someone, or that you can call someone, say, hey, I'm trying to do such and such and so and so. What's the recent things that are out here? I know for me personally, one of the things that I'm getting more into, or I plan to get into this year, one of my assignments is photography. I like photography, so I want to know because I want to be able to take pictures and do some other things as well with it. So I have to know what camera to get, what particular cameras do what I can do with one, those kind of aspects of it, to be able to add to what I'm doing. If I want to do more than just the live, I want to do videos. If I want to do videos, what can I do that with my camera? And then how do I have to know how to post it to whatever technology that I'm using, that I'm able to have. So technology is an important part of your brand, of how you're able to brand your business. So step number 3 is exposure. And that's a big one right there, is exposure. What exposure are you getting? What exposure are you getting? And how do you get it? What places are you setting yourself up to be a part of in order to be able to get the exposure? Part of my marketing, to give me my branding exposure, is the way that I send out messages on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Doing it 3 times a day. I do it 3 times a day. That's one marketing piece that I got from my marketing consultant, when she talked to me about getting exposure. One of the plans that one of the strategies we put in place for me getting exposure, was to do a post in the morning, post in the afternoon, and a post in the evening. And what that did for me. She explained to me what it did for me, because I know at the beginning, I was like, I got time to be doing all of these postings and everything like that. So she was like, no, you got to understand of what that will do for you. So what did I do? I was like, okay, I had to buckle down, and I had to actually become disciplined at doing it. And it has paid off. It has paid off tremendously for me with my postings. I do a motivational posting in the morning. I do a business posting in the afternoon. and then I do an evening kind of a fun post. Ann knows about my evening conversation, and those that might be on here that have had my evening conversations, they they know we have fun with it, and folks get frustrated with me because I make you have to make a choice about some fun stuff that we do. So the evening one is just to have some fun, the engagement with folks, but it actually has given me given me exposure that I wouldn't have ordinarily have had I not listened to my branding, my marketing consultant when she was coaching me and telling me the things that I should do, and we were mapping out my marketing plan. So doing those things are crucial. Getting the exposure, being at events, and we're going to talk a little bit about going to events versus your calendar, because that's part of the exposure piece as well. Social media plays a part of exposure. Going to events plays a part of exposure, and even being a sponsor, and does it. Even being a sponsor is part of getting exposure, and you have to be strategic about the exposure that you get. Like Ann and I talked about, you're gonna have a budget. There's going to be some money that you're going to have to spend, but if you're strategic about what you do with the money that you have, you can maximize that exposure with it, where you're a sponsor for certain events. Just like we talked about the partnerships, you want to make sure that these sponsorships that you do the same way for events. You want to make sure that event has your target market there, what their numbers are as far as the people attending, or even not just attending, but the number of people that will put their eyes on that particular event. Because a lot of folks will have a what do they call those banners, and that you do, that had all of the sponsors on? I don't know if there's a specific name for
it. Flyers or digital flyers, but we're going to talk too. But yeah, you definitely, like Leroy said, the same vetting process you did for partnerships, you have to do for sponsors. You can't sponsor everything. You just can't. Even if it seemed like it aligns with your business, there has to be an end goal and process. What is that going to do for your business? Not just throwing away your money because you want your name on someone's event. When you look at the event that you're going to put your money on, look at the end result. Like, how much exposure do you think you're going to be getting with this one investment? Okay, because you got to look at your return investment when you sponsor something. And I have sponsored a number of events. Not, it might be a personal one, or it might be a major one, or it might be a little small one. But I have to be very strategic about where I put my name, because of what I represent and what my company represents. So even if it's just a little tiny bit, I still have to question, okay, what am I going to get out of this? And that might seem selfish, especially if you're a caring person like me and want to give everything. But sometimes in business, you have to be selfish, because this is your business and you're trying to grow and reach the actual target that you're trying to market to, that's going to give you that revenue. So sometimes you just have to be very, very particular, very selfish in where you put your money.
And here's the thing that I heard Warren Buffett say this one time: you're going to say no to more things than you do. You say yes than you say yes to. So yes. Understand that every event, every partnership is not meant for you to be with them. You're going to say no more times than you say yes. And here's a gauge for you, whether it's your partnerships, whether it's your sponsorships that you use. And this is what I use as a gauge, and what I used as a gauge last year. And I'm continuing to use it, is I ask myself this question: am I going to be better off, or is my business going to be better off after the event or after the partnership than it was before I have the partnership or the sponsorship? If the answer is yes, let's move forward. If the answer is no, then that's when you have to say, you know what, I have to say no to this particular event. It's not worth my while. And don't be afraid. Like I said, don't be afraid to say that it's not worth what it's going to cost you to be able to be a part of it. Or it's not in my budget. Hey,
right.
It's not in my budget. Don't be afraid to say that. You would say that in your household if your child came up to you, "Mommy, Daddy, can I get this or can I get that?" I'm sorry, no, we can't get that. You can't get that right now. and you might not necessarily say it's not in the budget to your kids, but you have to understand that the same concept here is if it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget. That you want to make sure that you're strategic about it, and that you maximize the those sponsorships that you want to get into, and that's where your having the marketing plan comes in, because you'll understand who your target market is, and where they are. And if you can answer those two questions with being a sponsor and being a sponsor, or being in a sponsor, or being a sponsor and being a part of an event, then that's what you want to do. If your target market is a part of it, and they're going to, and you know where they are, it's going to reach them, then you certainly want to do that. So that's what you certainly want to do. That's the exposure, part of the exposure that you want to do. The last one, and then Ann, I'm gonna let you, because I know you got to get with yours. The last one is about events. You want to have events, and you want to have your calendar. The events are those events that you want to go to, whether it's another business event, networking event, whatever, though that particular event that might be going on in your area, whether it's in your area or whether you can attend it virtually, because a lot of things now you can do virtually because people are chiming in live, so you can look at them, you can go into them live. So that should be a part of what you're doing. You should have that in there so that you can attend events. And then your personal calendar, which is where the events that you're doing, that Ann and I are doing, this was on my calendar, just like it was on her calendar. These are things that are on our personal calendar because we wanted to do this particular kind of event to be able to get exposure, to be able to do our mission of enlightening, empowering, and impacting individuals as we go on in 2018. So this was a part of our calendars, our business calendar. So you want to have that. You want to make sure that you have a personal calendar. If you haven't gotten one yet, go out, get a planner, get a calendar so that you can mark these particular events. And there's nothing wrong with going on social media or even just pulling up your particular city to see what's going on and being a part of the organizations or seeing what organizations have different events that are going on. So I'm going to stop right there so that we get to the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I want to, because Ann's going to give y'all the rest of it.
Leroy, you more. So I want to just take a brief second to ask people who are watching if you had any questions about any of the stuff that Leroy just said, because that was a lot of information about marketing, about branding, events, and making sure that you protect your brand. I just want to take a second to see if you had any questions, to answer any questions before we move on to the how. So I'm just going to have anything you want to say.
If y'all enjoying this so far, can we get some hearts and thumbs up in there?
Yeah, hearts and thumbs up in this joint. Yeah, there we go.
Thumbs up in there.
Some love.
Okay. Y'all get some good information here if y'all can.
They did. So if you do have questions, definitely put it down here or get with me directly, or Leroy directly will answer. Okay, so I'm going to get into the how because I know everybody waiting for the how. Now,
and before you start, did you see that question that JC had about if we should have two separate calendars?
You know what? I do everything on one calendar only because it's easier for me. But I guess what Leroy is saying is that when you want to get exposure for your business, you have to be on someone else's calendar, meaning you have to be either going to an event, which is on your personal calendar, or you're on someone else's calendar, either with a phone call, a meeting, a networking event, or participating in an event. You need to be on somebody's calendar doing something, because every time that you are out there doing something on someone else's calendar, they are also bringing in other people, and that helps you further promote your business. So you can have one calendar, but just you want to fill it up with stuff that you're doing, just like me and Leroy are doing right here, and you want to fill it up with stuff that other people are doing so that you are participating, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. But like I said, just throw your questions in there and we'll stop and answer. Okay. So again, this is about low cost budgeting. So I'm going to give you some tips on what me and Leroy can, should we have to? Okay. That's the same question. So we're going to give some tips on, ways that you can save money as a very small business to do it. And one of them we already know is social media, but a lot of times what we're doing is that we're using social media on a personal level, okay? And that's perfectly fine. We can have a personal, Facebook account or personal Twitter or LinkedIn, however. But when you are building your brand, and I had a conversation with someone last night about that. When you're building your brand, you have to control what people see and know about you on social media, because once you put it out there, it's out there to the world. There's so much you can only take back. Even delete your post, Facebook still has a copy of it. And as you notice in the memories, I know I went back and deleted some stuff like 2 years ago, and every so often they'll come back and say, 2 years ago, don't you remember? And I'm like, didn't I change that? You know? So with the very first thing that you want to do as a small business is understand how you're going to be using social media, okay? Social media can be your friend or it cannot be your friend depending on how you're doing it, okay? So there are different social media platforms, as you know, and so all of this is going to tie into how you do your digital flyers, how you do your brochures, how you do email marketing, how you just tie everything together. So one of the things I want to talk about too in terms of social media is that if you plan to use your Facebook as a business or brand, the one thing I don't suggest is to use your business name on your personal page or use your business. I'm going to tell you why that's confusing. First of all, it makes it very difficult for people to tag you in posts. If you are only using a business page that people cannot really engage with you on. That's the number one thing. I mean, I take, for example, there's a lot of people who I'm tagging for the podcast and stuff like that. And it's very difficult to tag you if you are either using a business page and then you put your name there, or you're using your personal page and then you put your business name there. So you either have to have a business Facebook page and your own personal page to keep it separate. So that way, when people kind of relate to your business, they actually know which page that they can tag so that people can see it. If you have a page and somebody tags your page, you may not get that tag when you log into Facebook. So you got to make a decision on which one you want to do, okay? Second of all, your personal social media, everything you post, everything you do is going to reflect upon your brand and how you market your business. So you got to be real careful. If you plan to just speak your free mind on social media, I would suggest that you get a separate one, name it something else so that you can have your own personal Facebook page and maybe your family and friends would know that, and maybe have another one that is strictly for your brand. Because what happens is a lot of the opportunities before they even partner with you, they're going to ask you for what is your website, what is your Facebook, what is your LinkedIn account, what is this, and they will come out there, and depending on your privacy settings, they will come out there and they will Google you and they will look you up. And if they see that your page is not conform to what your website or your business is and you have no continuity there, it's going to raise questions on whether or not they want to do business with you. So I want to stress that if you're going to be starting a new business, you got to decide how you're going to be working social media so that you have consistency between your website and how you want people to see you on social media. Okay, and if you can look at mine as an example. So like on my page, I pretty much talk about, I don't really have too much personal stuff on my personal webpage. Everything you see is all about Austin Tech and what I want people to know about Austin Tech. So I'm very particular about what I post. And I set my privacy to that people cannot just tag and add stuff to my timeline. So I have a way of choosing what I want people to see on my timeline. So that's very important, even if it's a personal one, because you don't want anybody just tagging you and putting stuff on your timeline and you have no idea it's there, because you'd be surprised when people try to tag you and put on your timeline. Okay, so you got to protect that too. Okay, so let's get into some of the other stuff. Now, low cost. Now, what are some of the things you could do that will save you a lot of money? Number one, I would go to Network Solutions or Wix.com and get yourself a $15 WordPress website. I didn't pay anybody to do my website. They have tremendous amount of support on WordPress.com and WordPress.org. Wix.com is also a product of Network Solutions, so they all tie in together. But what I like about Network Solutions is that they have thousands of free templates there that are very easy to use. 90% of these things have learning lessons on YouTube. They have learning lessons on the developer's website where they will actually show you how to create something on your website. You can pick any of those templates, and they're all free and they come with it. You also get 10 domain emails. We need to stop using Gmail, Leroy. We need to stop using Gmail as our business email. Okay?
She's exactly right.
I'm just saying, it's nothing wrong with using Gmail. Let me just get that right. Okay. But a lot of times large opportunities come when they see that you have invested in your business to get a real domain email with your web address. So if you have AnnAustin.com, you should be having something like information, something at AnnAustin.com. You should not have like a Gmail account and things like that. And then you have a website, it's actually worth the $15 a month, and you can actually pay it per year. And most of the time, Network Solutions will have deals where you can get the domain name for free. So if you kind of catch them when they have a deal, you can get a domain name for free, and you can get a WordPress blog website that you can do anything you want with, because my website is a blog and I do everything with my website and I manage it myself. You also want to kind of steer clear, if all, not to get someone to like develop your website, because when you get someone to develop your website, then that means you have to kind of keep up with it. If they change companies, or if somebody, like, let's say they decide they don't want to help your website anymore, then how are you going to update your website? It is very important when you first start your business to learn how to manage your own website, so that way you know what you need on it. And then as your company gets bigger, then you can kind of go out there and have somebody do some developing for your website, okay? One of the other ways that you can save some money is to use Microsoft Word to create your banners and your flyers and stuff like that. Now, I'm not big on Adobe Creative Suite like Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. You can pretty much get the same quality of stuff just using Microsoft Word. And the main things that I do is I just use images, and I use the snipping tool, and I use shapes that have the autofills in there, and each one of those points. And if anybody have any questions about how to do that, I will be happy to give you a 45-minute lesson on how you can use Word to create a flyer, to create a digital small little flyer. You can do brochures, you can do anything yourself, so that you're not actually paying all this money for like a graphic artist, when really it's just layering images that you can actually create yourself. So, and it's really, really easy to use. You can also use PowerPoint to also do your brochures and flyers. You can also, there's another tool out there that's called Snappa, SNAPPA.com. So if you go to snappa.com, for free, you can actually get some pre-done templates, and you can add pictures, you can do all kinds of stuff. Now, after you create your image, however, you have to use a snipping tool to do it, because with the free version, they may not allow you to save it. But what that would do is help teach you how to create graphics. Okay, so you want to be in a learning curve when you're doing this stuff, because as you don't have money to be doing all this. You're a very small business. You don't really have a budget. Okay. Another thing you can also do with Word and Snappa is that you can create your one sheet. You can create a one sheet for your speaking engagements. You can create some other type of special flyer, like the one that Leroy has behind him. That was also, I replicated that like in 5 minutes in Word. It's really that easy. It is really, really that easy. Another thing you can do to help with your images. So like, for instance, if you take a picture on your phone and it's not enough pixels, go to GIMP, I think it's GIMP, or Google GIMP, and I'll put this down thing too. So GIMP, GIMP. And what that software does is that you can go under the scale. There's a tool in there that says scale image. You can go in there and make that thing as high pixelated as you want for free. You don't have to pay anything for GIMP software.
Y'all just got something right there, because I'm going to tell you, that lesson right there,
yes.
right there about the pixels, I can't begin to tell you the lesson that I had to learn with not just my books, and even this banner that you see behind me, because the picture that's on here of me was not the original picture. Why? Because when it got to the printer told me that the image that I had didn't have enough pixels.
See, that's what I'm.
Yep.
Okay, so JC said, I need a professional email. My name is so common. You know what? One of the things that I went to a networking event, and one of the ladies, they made a good idea that we should go out and .com my name. I really need to go out there and get AnnAustin.com, because you just never know what I'm going to need to do with that. That's right. Thankfully, yeah, GIMP is really a really good tool to pixelate your pictures. And again, it's one of those things where I can show people easily what you can do with those pictures. Speaking of pictures, here's another thing you can do to save money, okay? I'm just giving y'all, I'm not even reading the script no more, y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all what you need to do. Go to Amazon.com and pick up a photography kit between $60 and $100. It comes with soft lights like the ones I have in here. It comes with a back sheet just like this. You can actually set up your bedroom as a photography studio with the correct lighting. Get somebody with a really good camera and a camera phone, just like I did for my headphone pictures, my son's. And look, and here's the thing. You can use that set over and over and over again to create all kind of photos, your own photo shoot. All you need is somebody to take the pictures. Yep. You see how easy and cheap that is? I didn't go out there and pay $1,000 for professional photography. I went to Amazon.com, okay? And I went and got my son's iPhone, and he was ting, 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 and took a picture. And next thing you know, I had professional photos. And I used GIMP to, give me more pixels. And then I use Word to brighten it up. And then there's another one that I use too, which is, it's on Windows 10. It's called Microsoft Photo Editor or something like that. And with that, you can crop it, you can resize it, you can color code it, you can do all kinds of stuff. And I'll put that in here as well, that you can do that. And one thing that's really nice is that once you create these photos that you created, these are the ones that you can easily upload to your WordPress website, and it will look fabulous. It will look like a professional had did it, and you would just never know. Now, there's another piece of software that's out there too, and I think it's a trial version. It's called Sony Vegas Pro, which is what my son uses. And he can actually take the background away from me, right? So he can actually take a picture of me, and in Sony Vegas, he has a tool that removes the background and makes me all nice and glowy and stuff. And next thing you know, it's transparent. I can put that picture on anything, okay? So that's how you have to do. Now, going back to the website for just a second. Okay, if you cannot do the $15 a month or pay the yearly cost for a website, what you could do is go to WordPress.com and pick the free version of WordPress. But the only difference is it'll be like AnnAustin.wordpress.com. So you'll have the WordPress.com after that. But when you try to tag your domain name to it, it'll probably be $9 a month or something like that, which is still kind of cheap. But what that will give you is still the same type of WordPress with the templates and all the plugins. Like if you want to have a calendar on your website, or if you want to have some bells and whistles, like a countdown, like you saw, I had a countdown one time on mine, or if you want to do YouTube, they have free plugins. I don't pay for that one plugin on my website. Everything is seriously free, okay? Now, let's see. Okay, now what else I have to do here? Let's see, Adobe Photoshop. Now, if you would love to learn more about how to do videos, Adobe do have trial versions or monthly versions for you to pick up, like Adobe After Effects or Adobe Creative Suite. And those programs are a little bit complicated. However, they're still kind of they're very intuitive. Now, with those programs, you can actually create videos like you saw that I have. You can add music to them. They have websites. One website is called Motion Array. That's motionarray.com. They have free After Effects and Premiere Pro templates that you can use. All you have to do is you pay your little $15 or $20 for the template. You can download it, and it has placeholders where you can put your picture and you can add your music, and then you can export it out, and voila, you have a video. They also have another one. What's the name of that other one that we could do? RIP. RIP is another one that's out there that people are using on their phones. But what I don't like about RIP too much is that there's too much on your phone that you have to have in order to create a little small video snippet. So, but there are so many different software out there that can help you do your video. Another, let me see, it was another one you could do video. So we have that with Snippet 2, we have this. Okay, so like sound files. So if you have a music that you would love to do and you want to spruce that music up, you can go and get a software called Audacity. So it's called Audacity. It is totally free. You download that application. You can actually record with that. You can load up an audio file and you can accentuate it. You can bring out certain words or certain tones using Audacity. And it's really, really easy to use, and it is free. Another thing, going back to, let me see, anybody got any questions? Are you guys good? I mean, person doesn't have a lot. Okay, I just make sure you guys are okay out there. You know, give us some thumbs up, some likes, some loves. Y'all liking all this stuff we telling you. Like and share. Okay, now one of the other things I'm going to try to, let me see, videos will probably pay for itself. That's right, they do. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have gained more clients just by having videos. Now, speaking of videos, if you, depending on what you're doing for your business, I still think that video is 100% 21st century right now. Everybody is doing videos, no matter what you look like. And I have a real hang up about my face being on video right about now, okay? But I have to conform to where my clients is going. You know, everybody has everything on their phone, so they don't want to have to go to their computer, dial into a video conference. They want to just hit the button and boom, they're watching. Okay, so if you have a YouTube page, start putting out some meaningful, valuable information that you can fill up your YouTube page with some, just like we're doing here, sharing business information. I guarantee you by the night, this is going to be on my YouTube page, just like last week's one. Okay. So what we're doing is building a digital footprint, because that's where everybody is going right now, into the digital footprint. So make sure you practice it.
That's part of the branding and the marketing yourself, getting your digital content, getting your digital content weight up. Absolutely.
Right. Now, here's some things that you can do for video that will get you going before you go Facebook Live. There is an application called OBS. Okay, OBS. Oh, she got a question? Meant to ask, post these names in the group attachment. Don't recall spelling the last one. Okay, yeah, everything we said we're going to post in a file in the group. So yes, absolutely. How many videos should we start with our YouTube page? Now that really depends on you. Okay, so let me get this one thing out and then I'll answer that. Okay, so before you start doing Facebook Live, this is what I did. I went out online and downloaded OBS, which is a video recorder that you can download on your computer. Now, OBS has two main functions that will help you. First of all, you can actually record your video without doing Facebook Live, so you can see how you are projecting on video. Okay, that's what I did. I actually recorded my video first, and then if I didn't like it, I recorded it as many times as I want until I got what I liked. Okay, and then it actually, you could choose where you want to save it. So you can save it on the desktop, you can save it anywhere you want on your computer. Once you have that, you can upload that to Facebook. or you can upload it to, YouTube or any way you want, right? So depending on what subject you're doing, you can do it like once a week. You can do it twice a week, depending on if you're doing a podcast or radio show or something like that. Just really be consistent about what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Because one of the things I'm learning how to do is to relate to when people want to see me on Facebook Live. So that's why I put a post out like, do you want me to be on video? Do you want me to be on text? So that I can cater to my audience. So if some people want to see me on video, then I'll do a video once a week. And I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. So OBS actually helped me with that by practicing first before I actually started doing the Facebook Live. Okay. So it's OBS, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything for that. And I can show people how to use that as well if you're interested on how to learn. Now, the second option that OBS does have is that it does have the ability to stream live to Facebook. Okay, let me say that again. OBS does have the ability to stream live on Facebook. Now, it has its little issues, but you can still do it. And I'm still learning how to use OBS in a number of other different ways. And once I find out how OBS will let me do this too, sharing the screen, I guarantee you I'll probably use OBS a lot more sooner, but it is really a good practice too.
Okay. And JC made a great point too, and just real quick about being consistent. One, you want to be consistent, but please, I'm going to say this again, please, 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 make sure that your content that you're doing is pertinent to what you're doing on business, that you have to do with your business. One thing that I can't stand is to be on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and these folks just doing it, and they're just doing it just to do it. They're not saying anything. They're not being productive with it. And they may or may not have their business, and most of them don't, I guarantee you, but just to be on there, just to see themselves. But you want to make sure that when you're doing a video, whether it's live or whether it's like Ann was saying, whether you're recording it, you want to make sure that your content is pertinent to what it is that you do with your business, that it has to do with that, because that goes back to what we've been talking about all evening about your branding yourself and putting content out there that folks be like, oh, this person this person that, oh, So you want to be consistent, and you want to make sure that your content is pertinent to what it is that you're doing, that the business that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the last things I want to touch on too, and I'm going to touch on this again in part 3, because part 3, we're going to talk about lead generation in terms of getting clients. Okay. One of the most important things that I learned last year is that you need to understand the demographic of your audience when you're doing any kind of marketing or branding. Okay. Because even though there are people out there of all different ages that may want what you have, they all are marketed differently depending on their age and where you're marketing them to. Okay. So for example, I have on there, and I'll post it, that most people who are like videos are between the ages of 19 and 45. Versus Instagram are much younger. Those are 16 to 24-year-olds, okay? Or LinkedIn is mostly 25 to 55. So when you're doing your marketing to these people, you have to understand what demographic are they in, and this will help you determine how you're going to market to them. Younger folks want to see more hip, more urban, more, fun stuff. Older people are laid back. They just want to get to the point. You see what I'm saying? They want to be excited about it, but they also want to be very clear right up front immediately what they want to do, right? And people on Facebook, you already know we love scrolling through stuff. So you got to hit them as soon as they see your video. You got to capture their attention right then and there, or they're going to keep scrolling by you, right? So those are just some tips that I wanted to share for that. And we're about to run out of time in our hour and everything. I think I might have lost Leroy though. But I just want everybody to really take notes of these tips, because whether you're new business, seasoned business, and all that kind of stuff, we all do stuff differently when it comes to branding and marketing our business. But it's always good to kind of see what other people are doing so that you can, just like JC said, you do not want to waste your time or your money. The biggest thing that you're going to be spending on when it comes to branding your business and marketing is your time. Your time to learn how to manage your website, your time to know where your demographic and your target market is, your time to understand how your brand is going to be affected by those who are looking at it and trying to understand what you do. And so knowing what your brand is and what you represent, that has to be consistent throughout the whole entire thing. And so just bringing it all together, just as a summary, since we're about to wrap this up, is that you want to protect your brand. You want to make sure that you understand what your brand represents. You want to create partnerships that are a good fit for you. You want to also vet the people who you do. You don't want to sponsor any and everybody. You want to make sure that you put your money where it's at the end of the day and at the end of the event or whatever, it's going to benefit your business as well as the other person, because they're going to get theirs and you got to worry about yours. Yeah, I see you back. Don't worry about yours, because I'm going to tell you, when you go out there and seek partnerships, you're going to see exactly what we're talking about. You're going to get so many no's, it's going to be crazy. You're going to be like, what am I doing wrong? Nothing. It's just that they are picking and choosing where to put their money, okay? And if it's not a fit, they're not going to do it, okay? So you definitely want to do that. You also want to start looking at ways you can save money through using Microsoft Office, using GIMP, using Audacity, which is the audio file. Can you talk about analytics? Oh, yes. Oh, let me just hit that because JC has a good question. Okay. If you are using like your Facebook page, what I like to do for some of my pages, that once a week I will go in and look at my analytics. I want to know what country are people from, you know. Don't worry about the spelling, girl. We know what you're talking about. I like visiting my pages. How old are they? What country are they from? What time of the day are they looking at my posts? These are really important because then it'll tell you when and where and how to market your audience along with some of that other stuff. And so again, these tips that we're going to share, I'm going to put it in a file and I'm going to share it to the group. So hopefully people will get it, download it, look at it. People who want to watch this playback, please share it with other small businesses, because this is what this group is about. It's about business and career development. Is really about how we can make ourselves better than we were the day before. So we really appreciate everybody who joined, JC, April, all these guys, and those who are going to be listening to this playback. Please give us feedback and let us know what you like, what you don't like about the webinar, what you want more of, so that we can create more webinars like this and keep the information coming. And if you are interested in doing a Facebook Live with me, please let me know. I would love to have you on here so you can share your expertise with everybody. Oh, yeah, Facebook can track it. Yes, if you have a page. Yes, if you have a page.
Add to that before we go, and also understand about Facebook's analytics and their analogs. That's you may have 5,000 friends, but all 5,000 of your friends are not getting the information that you're posting out there. So the more people that respond to you, those are the ones that you're talking about with the tracking, that what Facebook tracks, and they see who is responding to what post that you put out there. So if those friends of yours that aren't posting or that aren't responding to your post that you have out there, they don't see a lot of your posts. They don't get to see a lot of your postings because they don't respond to them. So the more interaction you have, the more friends you have interaction with, the more postings they get to see on when you're posting and with your news feed and everything like that. So that's important to understand that. And when we be like, oh, you didn't see my post, you didn't see that? No, you didn't see it because Facebook actually, they control who gets to see what of your postings too. So it's important to understand that.
It's the same way on LinkedIn too. And here's another thing, and I'll throw this out there. This is just my personal opinion. People don't have to follow with this in mind. One of the things that I did was I actually a couple times a year, I actually went through my Facebook friends and I just removed the ones that are not active with me.
Absolutely.
Because
You got to.
I can have 500 friends, 6,000 friends. I mean, it's all great to have like thousands of friends, but I prefer to have a smaller group of friends, knowing that those people are going to be the ones engaging with me, whether they do business with me or not, but still engage with me so that I know that you're out there, right? But if you're just sitting on my Facebook page just to be friends, I'm going to end up just deleting you, or nothing personal. But if you're not engaging with me, there's no point for us to be connected. And I'd rather have quality people in my friends, knowing that I know these people, versus just having a whole bunch of friends that's just sitting on my Facebook. So those are just some things too you want to think about when it comes to your branding and your business, because the people you connect with, you have to be able to use them at some point or another. And it's the same thing in LinkedIn. I can go through my LinkedIn and I can actually connect with people on LinkedIn who befriended me for some reason. And if they've been on there for a long period of time and never even answered an email, I disconnect from them. And then I connect with the folks that do want to talk to me. And that's how I still get exposure. So yes, your time to do all that is a lot, but it's worth it in the end. So
Right.
So we didn't have fun. So we want people to come for part 3 when we talk about how do you get clients, where do you find your clients, lead generation, how do you convert a client. And so that is the biggest thing. So we hope that you join us next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel at 6 p.m. next Thursday. We don't want you to forget. Okay, like and share this video. We love everybody and hope that you will give us really good feedback and tell people that they just have to join it. We will be loading this up on our YouTube page, and anybody wants to see the playback can just click on videos and watch us there. So thank everybody for coming out and showing us a little bit of love.
We're on a mission, y'all. 2018, making your 2018 better than it was in 2017. Let's go.
All right, good night, folks.
All right, y'all. Thanks a lot. Thanks again. Share.
Share.